Hello, welcome to my Graydle deck profile. This is the first Yu-Gi-Oh deck I've built in forever, probably over a year now, because, well, I like to build a good variety of decks, but I'm not made of many, and I don't find meta particularly fun, especially the one coming up with all of the pendulums and the magic spectres and the cosmos that just can't be targeted. So I figured that, or just, don't care about being targeted. So I figured that, I'm not really into that, but at the same time, I'm still interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm always looking at those really interesting, powerful, fun, cheap decks coming out, and Graydle is probably one of the few that I've seen like that. I mean, your Senjus are kind of okay. I guess Virtual Beasts aren't too expensive or anything, but, well, they just confuse the hell out of me. So I just want to stay away from those. But but yeah, Graydles look great to me. They have that sort of Gusto Yangzing style of defensive play, but better yet, they steal your opponent's things, and you can trigger, you can destroy them yourselves and trigger the effect. So they seem pretty darn badass. They haven't got that many cards, and they're already pretty solid, so they wouldn't need much more to go over the edge. So without any further ado, I mean, of course, many people watching this, you may already have a good idea of Graydles, or obviously they were announced months ago, but I just feel like I have to do a deck profile now that I have the cards in TCG, because I haven't done one in so long, and even though this deck doesn't have many techs or anything too unusual in it, well, my build doesn't, I just thought I'd show what I'm running anyway. So here we go. So 2 slime. One's probably fine, to be fair. I just like to have second in case one gets lost somehow, banished, or I don't know. It doesn't hurt to have an extra Graydle target when you're bringing out. Obviously, you want targets for impact, so this isn't essentially the best one, but it's another target for it nonetheless. And it's a very fringe reason for running him too, but you can even make rank 5s. Not exactly that big of a deal, but it's something to bear in mind. And then we have the core. So 3 Alligator, 3 Cobra, 3 Eagle. So in case you don't know what these do, essentially, when they're all destroyed by battle, these 3 different monsters, you can put them in your spell and trap zone and equip them to whatever destroyed, or not even whatever they destroyed them, to any face-up monster your opponent controls, and take control of it. And then when this is removed from your spell and trap zone, destroy the monster equipped. So it's insane, because you're just stealing everything when it's destroyed by battle. But of course, once your opponent knows what you're running, they will probably not want to attack into you, so that's why the secondary effects of each of these all come into play rather well. So Alligator, when it's destroyed by spells, it also gets that effect. Cobra, when it's destroyed by traps, it also gets that effect. And Eagle, when it's destroyed by monster effects, it also gets that effect. So the thing I love about this deck is that each one of these 3 effects not only works well against your opponent's things, i.e. Cobra, your opponent won't want to mirror force Cobra because you'll steal their monster, but it also works well with the support. Each 3 of these has a Graydle support card that synergizes with them. Alligator has impact, Cobra has split, and Eagle has slime. And if you didn't know what slime did, this guy, you can destroy 2 face-up Graydle cards you control. That includes spells and traps, and obviously you have a lot of continuous backrow. So if you want to free up some backrow, you can destroy them to bring out your slime from your hand or your graveyard. So this is really good when you haven't got many Graydles left in your deck for split, but you have lots in your graveyard, and you can just keep recycling and bringing them out with slime. And when you special summon this by destroying 2 face-up Graydle cards, you can then special summon another Graydle from your graveyard. So it's an instant level 8 synchro. So obviously this will bring back one of these, and if you pop Eagle to special summon this, of course you can steal something of your opponent's. So that's just 11 Graydles. Of course there's not any other Graydles you can run, but it's a good amount, it's enough I would say, because all of the cards are good. And the final monster, Graydle Dragon, or Debris, however you wish to pronounce. When it's a normal summon, you will grab a monster with 500 or less attack. Alligator has 500 attack. The only target will be you're winning 3 of it. And then this can only be used for synchro summon of a dragon monster, but of course there's a lot of good level 7 dragon monsters. I'm running Black Rose Dragon and Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. You can run the Gungia Ice Barrier one, but I don't think it's worth it. So anyway, on to spells. We have 3 Graydle Impact, one of the best cards any deck that you know relishes destruction can hope for, because you can only use one of the following 2 effects per turn, not both, but they are both so good that it doesn't matter. So you can either target one of the Graydle card you control and one card your opponent controls and destroy them per turn because it's continuous, or during your end phase add a Graydle from your deck to your hand. So not only is this a great searcher for whatever you need, it can also trigger your Alligator, because of course this is destroying Graydle with a spell effect, and Alligator triggers not only from battle but from spells. So obviously impact, pop Alligator in an opponent's card, and then you can steal a monster. So you can see how if your opponent doesn't want to play a game and interact with you, you can just interact with them whether they like it or not. So absolute must at 3. We then have 3 Supply Squad. Just as if there weren't enough pluses. Well, I guess there aren't a ton of pluses without this. This definitely makes it so that you will often have a lot of cards, and hey, that's a good thing. So because you can destroy things yourself and you're not relying on your opponent to do it, like this works so well in this deck in my opinion. So obviously impact, destroy an Alligator while supply squad's up, you draw a card, you'll destroy an opponent's card, and you'll steal a monster. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, it's a bit slow, yeah there's setup, but we're running 3 duality, there's so much deck thinning already that, you know, it's easy to sort of set this up, and so I think it's really good in the deck. Definitely think it has a place, because obviously a lot of things don't destroy now, but they're going to have a bad time trying to decide what to destroy. Like, do they want to MST impact, or do they want to MST this? Like, so many things that they have to hit, but they can't hit everything. And of course they're all continuous, so you can clog your back row up, but Slime, of course, can, you know, send spare impacts, spare parasites to the graveyard, free up your back row, and then get a level 8 synchro out of it, so not too shabby. We then have 3 duality for consistency. You don't have to special summon that much. We don't have that many monsters, so hey, if you need one of those, or if you want to search for your supply squads or impacts when you need them, it's always good. And then we have 2 ST, 2 Dark Hole. If you have an Alligator out with Dark Hole and your opponent has a destruction immune minion out, of course your Alligator can then steal it, so that's pretty cool. And that's the spells. So for traps we have 3 split. You could probably run 2 because we're running 3 impact, 3 duality, but it seems fine to me like this. So you equip this to a monster you control during your main phase, and then you can send that monster and this to the graveyard to special summon 2 Graydles from your deck with different names to each other. So absolutely great, instant like synchro, level 8 synchro play. Gets your slime out of your deck and into your graveyard, so you can keep using that for the whole game. And you know, if your last split, if you draw too many splits and your last one's dead, you can just, you know, attach it to a monster you control and then destroy it with slime and get another level 8 synchro play. So even cards that might be dead late game still provide fuel for slime, so it's really good. 2 Parasite. If you control no monsters, you can special summon a Graydle from your deck, which is super good. Really good if you didn't draw into any monsters because you're not running that many. And it's just a really good defensive element because it's continuous. It can be a thorn for your opponent if they can't remove it. And of course, there's a lot of spells that they would want to remove, so it really provides an obstacle for your opponent. We then have 2 Call of the Haunted. Just good as extra revival from the grave once you've got your splits off, but also good with Cobra, because if your opponent MSTs this and you bring back Cobra, Call of the Haunted will destroy Cobra, and because Cobra is destroyed by a trap card, it can steal an opponent's monster. Split is similar, because Split will be destroyed by Split. Cobra will be destroyed by Split if you equip Split to Cobra, so you can steal an opponent's monster whilst you're making your own play. So you can see these really nice little niche synergies here. And then we have 2 Breakthrough Skill. We don't mind our opponents attacking, but as much effect negation as possible in one card really. Some mass removal, again some synergy with Cobra, Torrential, against destruction immune enemies. A Bottomless, a Compulse, a Vanities, and a Solemn. And that is our main deck. Pretty standard stuff towards the end, but yeah, like I say, I'm not tacking this in with another engine. Yeah, it's just Graydles, and it's a pretty straightforward Graydle deck, but it works. I'd say it's solidly. Of course, it's not like tier 1 because a lot of things you can get around targeting now. It just shows how ridiculous the meta's getting, but it's a solid deck against anything else. Honestly, like very hard to get around. So yeah. For the extra deck, we have 2 Graydle Dragon, one of the best synchros in the entire game in my opinion. When it's synchro summon, target card your opponent controls, up to the number of water monsters used for the synchro summon of this card, so essentially always 2. So this card reads as, when this card is synchro summoned, destroy 2 of your opponent's cards. Now if that isn't already good enough, because it's like sort of scrap dragon effect on steroids, when this card is destroyed and sent to your graveyard, you can target 1 water monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. Of course, all Graydle effects activate in the graveyard, so that's not an issue. And if you already have a Graydle Dragon in your graveyard, you can even grab itself with another dragon to form a cute little loop. So, super good synchro, and honestly worth running at 3, I think, but 2's fine, I guess. Strap Dragon, again, it's generally inferior because you can destroy a lot more with Graydle Dragon. But it's kind of cool because sometimes you'll clog your backrow with this deck, what with your monster equips and all your continuous stuff. So actually, one of the few times you actually want to destroy your backrow to set something important perhaps, and then still destroy one of your opponent's cards. We then have Stardust Dragon, Stardust Spark, for those, individual protection or mass protection. And Hot Red, again, you could win the Scarlet one, obviously it's really good. But I still think Hot Red's good if you want to just sweep your opponent's attack position board. For level 7s, we have the Moonlight and the normal Black Rose for the Debris Dragon play. Moonlight's probably more flexible, but it's always nice to have the mass removal option. And then rank 3 is Miserism. You probably laugh at this, but it's actually really good because it can boost itself to 3000 attack. I mean, some people might think Acid Golem's good because it's 3000 attack, but look how big the downside is for Acid Golem, whereas this gets 3000 with no downside really, so pretty solid. Zenmane's Protection Destroy, from destruction and destroying things. Mech equipped for Uber Protection. Leviair to grab a banished Graydle. Ghost Trick Alucard for set cards, and then just as a fun little, because the extra deck isn't crowded, Volcasaurus and Gaia. It's very difficult to make rank 5s, but with 2 slimes it is possible, and it's a kind of nice option to have. I don't necessarily think it's essential, or by any means it's definitely not essential, but since the extra deck isn't crowded, why not? I mean, you could run Crimson Blader or another rank 3 or something, but generally speaking, in the extra deck, as long as you've got a good selection of level 8 synchros and rank 3s, you're good to go. So yeah, that's my Graydle deck profile, guys. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but I just really wanted to profile it since it's come to TCG, and it's a really fun deck, and I hope Konami make more cool decks like this, because yeah, like certain decks newer decks like Raid Raptors, even with the OCG support that's not out here, I don't think they're that good. So when I see a budget deck that I see a lot of potential in, I just have to get it. So yeah, without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed my profile, and that's it. So yeah, that's me signing out.